Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Lofton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington. Help from John Cole.
Well, here we are. This is Intelligent Ramblings. This is week 8 of year 2. And today's date is the 9th of October, 2024. And we're live here on Facebook. Appreciate you being here with us. See, we got a couple guests already here. That's good to see. Please make your thoughts known. Tell us what you think. If you agree with us, disagree with us. Only one general rule, and that is you cannot pick on us individually. Like you can't say, Bill, you're an asshole. You can't do that. You gotta say, Bill, your idea is an asshole. Anyway, we've been having some serious weather coming around here for the last, seems like it's been endless. First we had Helene come in and visit, and it gave us a good scare because we thought it was going to hit us, but it managed to hit our neighbors in South Carolina and just devastated western North Carolina, up the mountains, up around Asheville, especially Buncombe County, I believe it is. They're still finding people, and last I heard was up at 220 known deaths. And put a little sticker here on the bottom for the FEMA government. If anybody needs any help, you want to go to FEMA.gov. And this right here is a fact sheet. Myth versus fact, disaster assistance. So you can get the truth there, and you don't have to worry about what some idiot's saying about, they're not doing this or not doing that, or, you know, which is not a good thing at all. And on to the headlines. Harris calls Trump incredibly irresponsible for spreading misfortune about Helene response. Now, I thought this guy was pretty low life, and I thought he'd say pretty much anything he wants to say, and we all know he lies. All politicians lie. Let's put that out. They all make shit up that it just isn't true. And but this guy his con guy is the best of the best when it comes to telling a lie. And this is about as low as you can go, because it hampers relief. It hampers the people that are trying to help people up in North Carolina and South Carolina and Florida. When you just come out and start talking trash about it and saying things. Did it take them a while to get there? Yeah, it did. They were slow to respond, I'll admit that. But once they started responding, it was pretty amazing. You know, my son said there's Black Hawk helicopters that they could use for this. And I went, they're not going to use Black Hawk helicopters, those for combat. Well, guess what? There's Black Hawk helicopters from the North Carolina National Guard making deliveries. It's like Gary is kind of fading in and out today. Well, what do you guys got to say about that?
I don't know what he said. What did he say?
Okay, well, you asked the question, and I got the magic answer. Trump falsely claims Biden hasn't answered calls from Georgia's governor, Brian Kemp. Kemp, who is a Republican, told reporters earlier Monday that he had spoken with Biden the day prior to Trump saying that he wasn't answering the phone. You know, Biden wouldn't answer the phone from the Georgia governor. Well, guess what? He had already gotten, when he started pouting out these lies, that is when, the day before, Brian Kemp had already been talking to him. Let's see. He cited that baseless reports about anti-Republican bias in the North Carolina response. I mean, it's unclear what reports he's talking about. I mean, because that's absolute slander. That's beyond a lie. I mean, who in the hell is going to say, well, I'm going to give you some relief money if you're a Democrat, or if you're a Republican, you don't get relief money or something like that. I mean, it's just so out there in space that somebody would actually say that. It's just, you're fishing for any kind of vote you can get. And people that, obvious, they're not looking at real news, or they know what's going on. That's what I can understand. Also, he falsely claims that Biden-Harris response received universally negative reviews. Well, guess what? Boom, there it is. These are the politicians from the different areas that you can see. The Asheville, North Carolina governor met with the president and the vice president. Governor Roy Cooper from North Carolina. We have federal rescue teams from all over the country right now. I'm talking with President Biden and Vice President Daley. Then we got Henry McMaster, the governor of South Carolina, and he's a hardcore Republican. The federal assistance has been superb. President Biden said, whatever we need to let him know, and we're doing that. And then you got the Republican from Virginia. I'm incredibly appreciative of the rapid response of the cooperation from the federal team. And then there's Brian Kemp, our governor. We know he's a Republican. He don't like Kemp. He doesn't like Trump. Personally, I don't think, but he's still going to back him because he's a Republican, which I don't understand at all. The president just called me and he said, hey, what do you need? I told him we've got what we need. We'll work through the federal process. He offered that if there's other things we need, just to call him directly. I appreciate that. So right there, these are the major politicians in the states that are having such a hard time with the storm and whatnot. These are the major politicians, And let's see. Oh, here's another big one. Trump falsely claims Harris spent all her FEMA money on housing illegal immigrants. Well, number one, that's an entirely distinct from FEMA's pot of disaster relief funds. They have relief funds for this. They have relief funds for this. They have relief funds from this. They're not even in the same damn category. It ain't got nothing to do with immigrants, and it never will. And he's making this shit up as he goes. It just eats me up. And if this wasn't enough, he also said Trump falsely claims $1 billion was stolen from FEMA from migrants and has gone. And it's gone. $1 billion just went poof, magically poof. And, they spent it all on migrants. That was debunked by Friday. But the problem is it was debunked by Friday, and Trump still repeated the claim at least twice on Friday, and then said it again on Friday night in a town hall event in North Carolina. My head's blowing up. I don't know what to think here. It's just like, how far is this guy gonna go? Oh, here's another one. He falsely claims the federal government is giving $750 to people who lost their home. $750 is merely an immediate upfront aid survivors can get in to cover basic pressing needs like food, water, baby formula, and emergency supplies. You get more money down the road from federal relief. Will it rebuild your home? Probably not. But you will get more money from federal. I mean, $750, that's all they're going to give them? Lie. Big, blatant lie. And last but not least, on the hit parade of the lies he did, he falsely claims there are no helicopters, no rescue in North Carolina. Okay, here's your statistic. 146 flight missions, resulting in the rescue of 538 people and 150 pets. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact that happened. But Trump's going to Pennsylvania and telling those people who are ignorant, that don't watch real news, or news that's right, or news that's not made up as they go, and they'll think in Pennsylvania that the North Carolina National Guard didn't do what they did, and it affects them, it affects the people. That's what I'm so upset about. That's why I'm so mad. I don't know, I'm gonna get a little bit off the chain tonight, but that pisses me off. To make all that shit up and sell that, you are no soul. You are a loser. I mean, that's it. I'm done. Next.
You know what administration did tap into FEMA for immigration enforcement, ICE? Check it, 2019, the Trump administration did that.
Interesting.
Well, you don't think we need immigration help?
Well, if you know, I didn't say that. I just said if you're gonna badmouth FEMA for alleged immigration here, you did it too. So was it a good idea then? It's not a good idea now. I don't think FEMA has much to do with any of that.
The thing about it is,
it doesn't. That's the whole point. That's what Bill was explaining.
That's the whole point. There is
a whole different bucket of money.
It's like the football team borrowing some money from the volleyball team. Instead of going to the football team boosters, they go to the volleyball team. But it's not. That's not what it is. You got a budget for the football team. Got a budget for the volleyball team. You get your money out of your budget for football, and they get their money out of volleyball. There is no crossing over. Well, you're not going to get new jerseys this year on the volleyball team because the football team needs new jerseys. What the hell, you know?
My point is the hypocrisy of all of this. A few years ago, when we approached FEMA for help with immigration control, that was just fine. But now, even if this is true, and it likely is not, like you say, a different pot of money, now it's a bad idea. The hypocrisy of both sides is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I want to
buy into that.
Something really quick about the people. So I have personal experience working with FEMA people here in Atlanta at the Atlanta office, and also in Florida and in South Georgia. And this is on installs and later on service calls. And to a person, they're great people to work with. Extremely professional because they have to be. A lot of them are ex-military, and they run those organizations pretty much the way you would expect them to be run. And there's no lack of funding at any of those places, at the state level, in Florida and in Georgia, or at the federal level. They have the money for the initial like relief checks that Bill was talking about, the $750 checks that are like, you know, get through this week, put in your application, and we'll start working on bigger numbers that help out entire cities, counties, and states. But to go back to my original point, to a person, they were great to work with. Probably because they understood what's important, helping people in the middle of a disaster versus things that aren't that important. Donald Trump's latest political commentary, for example.
Well, I can
they're
speak.
good people.
I can speak from personal situation that I had to deal with. I went through a hurricane when I lived up in Virginia. 17 trees that were in my neighbor's yard were in the middle of the street and my yard. We had a pine tree about 120 feet high. You couldn't reach around it. You could, if you take your arms and put it around it, you could get almost halfway around it. I mean, it was that big a tree. And it went down during the storm in my backyard, and it was, I don't know, 3 feet from my house. Luckily, it went the other way. I mean, it was a complete clusterfuck the next morning. My neighbors and I got out there, and on the block, just the block that I lived on, we had 2 chainsaws on one end of the block and 2 chainsaws on the other end of the block, and we cut our way through till we had enough room for a car to get through. And then we went and started working on our own yards. But all the neighbors were out there. If you weren't running a saw, you were throwing logs and throwing wood and trying to get stuff cleaned out. And it took us 8 hours to do that. Well, we talked to FEMA, and they got what they did was give me a piece of paper for, damn, what is it called? Some equipment.
Receipt?
No.
Like a voucher?
No, a generator. They gave me a voucher for a generator, and I went over to Lowe's, bought myself a generator, and back there, we were out of power for 17 days. 17 in September. You know what it's like to cut wood all day and then come in and take a cold ass shower? 17 days we were without power. And FEMA did what I needed. And I needed a generator, and I had a generator running after the second day. So we could make coffee, we could listen to the radio, I mean, it wasn't no super generator, but it was a generator. And they were just Johnny on the spot. I mean, just amazing how fast they were able to do that. So I've got a personal.
One of the guys I used.
What, Gary?
I got one of the guys that I used to work with in radio. I said I had a fellow that I used to work with in radio. They got out of radio and got in with FEMA. He was one of the sharpest guys I ever knew. And I'm sure that he's doing a good job. If he's still working for me, maybe you're retired by now. It's been a while. But yeah, there's some great people in there. And they're doing the job that they're supposed to do. I don't think they're supporting illegal immigration. If it is, it's as you say, it's another pot of money. It's not for the disaster relief.
Do you know if he worked in Atlanta, Gary?
He worked all over
in
John. They would
Atlanta?
just send him. Yeah, I think he did. His name was Jerry Bonney. His on-air name was Jerry Marshall when he worked with me at WRSC.
Andrea, I'm sorry I didn't get your
he was,
comment up till
he would
late,
go
by the
to-
way. Throw that out there.
He,
I would ask.
He would go
Go
to
ahead,
hot
Gary.
spots all over the country. I was just saying, my friend would go to hot spots all over the country. They would just send him. I think at the time he was living in Warner Robins or somewhere close down there around Macon. And then whatever disaster there was in whatever part of the country, he would wind up with his team there.
Well, they're a dedicated group. I do want to ask for whoever sees this or hears this for prayers for my friend Eric. Just went through it's been a rough couple weeks for him. And I'll give you a quick synopsis. His house is about 150 yards from Tampa Bay. Helene came in and did about $100,000 worth of damage to it. While he was cleaning up, he fell. He's old like me. He fell and hit his head and ended up ICU. Then he got out of the hospital just in time for Milton. but not in time to leave. He couldn't leave because you saw the traffic jams coming out of that area. It was just impossible. He would have got stuck on the road. So he had to stay there and hunker down. Well, he's gone to another house that's got concrete and hurricane windows and stuff like that. So he's going to be sleeping tonight. If I'm guessing right now, he's probably in his bathtub, covered up, getting ready for the storm. It's probably hitting about right now. And I would ask for your prayers for Eric. That's his name. And we'll see how that turns out. I started a GoFund, whatever you call it, thing for him, and we're starting to get some good donations. But I do ask for your prayers and prayers for all the people in Florida, because Milton's gonna be a mother. It's not gonna be a lackadaisical.
You know, one of Imogene's daughters is down there about 2 miles off the coast.
Really?
Staying with the dogs. I'm not sure which daughter it is, Savannah or Imogene. She may not be on here tonight, but if she is, she can tell us the situation.
Well, it's pretty damn dire. No doubt about that.
Oh, but there's no such thing as climate change.
No, doesn't exist. It's a Democrat lie.
I think we may finally be moving beyond that. We may not hear too much more about that. Fingers crossed.
Well, these monster storms sort of put the light on all of that, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
What is this a picture of, Bill?
Well, I'll tell you.
This looks like some
World War II war footage.
We could. William, you're pretty
bad
much
things falling out of the sky.
real close to it. This is Ukrainian
What is that?
drones striking a major military depot in Russia, in a town northwest of Moscow. They're getting closer. Ukrainian drones struck a large military depot in a town deep inside Russia overnight, causing a huge fire and forcing some residents to evacuate. Ukraine is building up its own arms industry, and authorities have identified drones as an important aspect of that. In the war that is approaching 1,000 days, we can't forget about Ukraine. It's been 1,000 days. Ukraine's air defenses have proved resilient against drones. The Ukrainian Air Force said Wednesday it shot down 21 out of 22 drones that Russia launched over Ukraine.
Slavy Ukraine.
And this is before, and this is after they bombed their red ass. Well, I'm about sick of Russia too. You know, it's ridiculous that this is even happening at all. But now it's going 1,000 days. People are starting to go, oh well, we've been putting too much money into this, and you know, well, it's called democracy. We're trying to preserve it, and you know, Putin, he thinks he's a little damn Napoleon or something. He's going to go after Poland next, or one of the other countries that are there. And when he steps foot in Poland, it's balls to the wall then, baby. Boots down. We're going to be in the middle of it. So, do we want American troops to be over there fighting and dying? Or do we want to support Ukraine and let them fight this fight? You got to ask yourself that before you go, well, we spent too much money on them. Why aren't we spending? Why aren't everybody else paying for it? Well, because we can.
And I think there are some countries that have spent almost as much, especially if you put resources and actual dollars or euros. The UK is the country I'm thinking of specifically. They spent almost as much money as we have supporting Ukraine, and have supported them in some ways more actively than we have.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to the thing that I say every time this topic comes up is we got a real opportunity to degrade Putin and Russia, and we're right in the middle of it, and we're holding back too much. I can only imagine what Irk Russell would say if about this situation. Something with the initials of GATA, probably.
Well, it's something that we've got to maintain.
How close was that to Moscow?
Well,
I don't know. It was 70 miles from Ukraine. That I know.
well, strategically, militarily, economically, Ukraine is a vital part of that part of the world.
Yeah.
And I think we're well served to try to bolster them up. And I'm speaking from a purely economic and practical standpoint. Democracy obviously is there for us, but all those other factors come in too. I mean, it's either, like you say, Bill, it's either let them do it, or, I mean, we want them fighting their own fight over there. We can help support them, but we don't want American troops involved. So, but you can't let these people go unchecked either, because they'll just run roughshod.
Yep.
A bully will take you, and will keep bullying you as long as you let them.
Absolutely. Oh well, newsflash! I actually sold a picture on my website today, and which is what I enjoy doing as a photographer. And I've got a website. It's WilliamLofton.com. Go there and see if you see anything you like. But I sold a picture of a sign that said Cooper Gap, so many miles. And I think, John, you may have been there when I took the shot.
I believe I was. Was that the Neil's Gap to Cooper's Gap?
Yeah, and it's got some stones going up a hill, and you can see up in the distance that you're going up a mountain. It was a good shot. I really enjoyed doing it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
if I get
50,000
50,000 people do it, then I'd really be happy.
I had a brief moment of disconnect there when you said I sold a picture, and then Bill's a photographer.
Well, we got a minute and a half left, guys. Anybody want to throw anything in? Well, what's going on in the area, other than we need prayers from everybody, for everybody down the state of Florida and those people that are affected by Helene.
We were up in Tennessee last few days, got back pretty recently, and we were in a part of Tennessee that was spared, but I saw some pictures of the things in North Carolina. It might have been that lake. What was it, John? Lake Lure? Is that what they call it?
Lake Lure,
up there in North Carolina. I think it was a picture of that lake, and it looked like a garbage dump. I mean, there was so much debris you couldn't even see the water. That's what they're dealing with.
I saw the same picture. It looked really bad.
All right, we're gonna pay a little advertising here and see if we can pay some bills for this, and we'll be right back with college football. Well, we're here
All
on
right.
college football 2024. And we had some upsets last weekend. Them
Did
little
we?
bitty ones,
Did we?
little bitty. Yeah, we did. One little bitty one.
We all took a bath on that one, didn't we, huh?
Oh man, I got my butt tore up last week. I mean, I was like counting them, and I was like, damn, Bill, you didn't even hit. I think I hit like 60%, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Everybody got chomped down pretty good. I'll have to admit that I enjoyed myself a lot watching Vanderbilt beat Alabama.
Wasn't
I
that
mean,
great?
How's that come out of your mouth? It's like, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I mean, it feels good to my tongue and my mouth. It's like, makes me salivate. I just enjoy it that much. And I would have to say upset of the century. You think?
Pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, it's up there with the Michigan losing a few years ago.
Appalachian State
Appalachian State.
beating
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah, I would definitely put it up with that. Absolutely. It's the biggest upset in the last 10 years.
Well, Vanderbilt had never beaten a top 5 team, and now they're 60-1 against the top 5.
They hadn't beat Alabama in 40
You
years.
hear what I said? 60-1.
Man.
Well,
And
I,
then Tennessee goes to Arkansas, and son of a gun, if Arkansas just doesn't hand it to them, I mean, deal with them. They made
really enjoyed that.
Arkansas made them play
Texas.
the way they wanted them to play.
well,
Texas A&M and Missouri. Yeah, same thing. Here's and Kirby Smart is very, very smart man. Not just about his name. He has to prepare, like Vince Dooley used to say. Vince Dooley said, "People think I'm a pessimist." He said, "I'm a realist."
Anybody can beat anybody.
yeah, absolutely right,
True.
William. Anybody can beat anybody at any given day. What's that word? The big long word that
I have to
says that-
prepare to beat everybody that's going to be playing us at their very best. And if you're not playing at your very best,
blip, there he goes.
Whoa.
He came back, and then he came back, and it was kind of, well, you're like 2 sentences behind everybody, Gary. Hopefully he'll be back. That's a good song, John.
Kudos to William, who picked Texas A&M to win. And
William,
all
and
right.
yes, and
Bill. Please excuse me, Bill got that one too.
did. That saved me from total oblivion.
Hindsight is 2020. What were you thinking when you picked South Carolina to beat Ole Miss?
I just had a feeling, and it turned out to make not the right one. I thought Carolina's got a pretty good team. I saw them play Kentucky, and
Yeah.
they've got a good defense, and they've got a good quarterback, and they've got a good running back, and they got a couple really good receivers. They're like a level below Georgia, maybe 2, and it's just going to take a little while for them to catch up. But I think Beamer Ball's going to pick it up very soon, and they're going to be back up the ranks with Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama and LSU. Oh, Gary tried to come back. Oh. Boom, there he is.
yeah.
Anyway, we'll
Spotty Wi-Fi.
we'll get on to doing some picks, and we're going to start off with Texas at Oklahoma. Texas has got a fine ball club. those Longhorns have got it going on. But I want to tell you what I think. I think Coach Brett's going to be waiting on them in not Stillwater, and where the hell is Oklahoma University?
Stillwater.
Stillwater is Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah. Norman.
Norman. Yeah, Norman.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
When Texas goes to Norman, they're going to be playing in front of a really loud crowd, and Oklahoma's got a pretty damn good team. So I think it's going to be that's my upset of the week. I'm picking Oklahoma.
Yeah, I picked Oklahoma too. Just think it's time that another number one gets beat.
I am thinking that Texas really is as advertised, and Oklahoma might stay with them for 3 quarters, but I've got Texas going away.
You might be right.
Texas for me. Texas for me too.
Ohio State at Oregon. This is going to be a nail biter. I guarantee it. But seeing the fact that they're playing at Oregon, and Oregon's got a really good team as well, maybe not as good as Ohio State, but I'm still picking Oregon.
Yeah, I am too.
Damn, William. With your record, I got to wonder.
Yeah, you better. I picked first.
True.
I think Ohio State is a really, really good football team, and they have really, really good coaches. So I got to go with the Buckeyes here.
I can't stand their head coach. I don't like him at all.
No slam on the Ducks, but I'm picking Ohio State. Well, I didn't like Spurrier either, but he was a hell of a coach.
Yeah. No
Did
doubt.
anybody like Steve Superior? Like even his own teams? Did they like him?
No.
It just makes you wonder.
They liked him when he was playing in Florida.
When he won the Heisman
I guess they
Trophy.
like the results.
Yeah, he was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
John, who you picking?
My favorite.
Oh, sorry. I've got Ohio State in this one. Much as I sentimentally would like to pick Oregon, it's Ohio State for me.
Well, if I'm right, Georgia will be back to number 1. Penn State at USC. Now, this was a tough one. I think these are pretty evenly matched teams, even though the offense on USC is a lot more, what's the word for it? Throw a lot and a lot of other crazy stuff. Penn State's just going to run it straight at you. I'm picking USC. I don't like them either.
I went with Penn State here.
I hadn't liked USC for 30 years, so I remember back in the day.
I'm going USC too. Just another upset. I think they're going to be upsets this weekend.
I've got Penn State for the
Damn,
reason that Bill was talking about, because they can control the game and keep the ball away from USC's offense. So I've got Penn State.
Wow, that's 3 in a row. You 2 against us 2. Somebody's gonna be in the cellar next week.
We're all
Ah,
circling the drain here.
Mississippi
we might
State
split.
at Georgia. I don't see this being much of a ball game. Mississippi State's got a new coach, and they're not doing very well, and they don't have a good record, and they're playing at Athens, and I promise you it's going to be loud because Kirby really got on the fans.
Yeah.
I've never heard a coach get on the fans like that. He's serious.
Well, I think he feels like, we all students, alumni, whoever, fans, we all have a job to do, just like the team does. We're part of the program too, and the fans got to get with the program.
Well, we're spoiled. We're spoiled by success. Absolutely. Do you realize how many other football programs around the country would just give almost anything to be where Georgia has been the last few years? Because a lot of them just suck. They're middle of the road. That they think that 7-4 is a great year.
Yeah.
We're spoiled. We're competing for conference and national championships in the best football league in the country. And, oh yeah, so what? We're playing in. No, show up and cheer.
Make some noise.
I can't afford the tickets. They were almost $200 a piece just to sit in the upper deck.
No, I can't afford them either. That's why I watch it on TV.
That's part of a problem right there, isn't it?
I was going to go.
You're getting the people that. Well, let me describe it this way. When I went and saw the Allman Brothers Band play in Atlanta, I was first in line to get tickets, and I was there like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours ahead of time. Got in line, got my tickets. I was on third row center for the Allman Brothers. Granted, this is years ago. Well, I'm sitting there getting my brain ready for this this band that I just absolutely love, and I'd seen already 2 or 3 times. And I'm sitting up there, and I'm so happy the seats I got. And then I look behind me, and there's a whole row. Then all of a sudden, these people start coming in, and they fill up the whole row behind me. There's like 15, 20 people. And when the band started, and I noticed the way they were dressed, it was a little bit, I'm like, boy, they're wearing some expensive clothes to be coming to a Allman Brothers concert. I'm wearing a pair of jeans and a damn t-shirt. And they were dressed up like they were going to the prom. It was, I know good clothes because I like to wear nice clothes at times. But they're wearing button-downs and khakis and all this kind of shit, and they looked like they were just stepped out of a fraternity house. Best way to describe them. And when the band started going, I'd stand up and I'd dance and sing the whole time because I know all the Allman Brothers songs by word for word, and it's like one of my favorite bands on the planet, top 5 at least. And I kind of gazed around me and looked and saw these people behind me that somebody's daddy paid for 30 tickets, and they're just kind of sitting there talking or looking at their phone or not paying very much attention to the damn concert. And then 2/3 of the way through the concert, they all got up and left. Dude, they had another hour of music to play, and they got up and left. And I'm talking a minimum of 20 seats. That's the same thing we're having with Georgia now. We got the frat boys that, mom and daddy's got the money, they can afford to go to the ball game. Regular old hard-working people like us, we can't afford it. So you get what you get. Keep charging $200 a ticket. Rant over. South Carolina at Alabama. I would really hate to be South Carolina this week. Because Alabama's pissed off, the coach is pissed off, the fans are pissed off. They're all pissed off. And I guarantee you they're going to beat the hell out of South Carolina.
They're going to try anyway.
I'm hoping Carolina will stay with them a little while, but I got a feeling that if Alabama comes out and plays good, the thing about last week is Alabama didn't play that bad. It's the simple fact that the damn quarterback they didn't have an answer for that quarterback from Vandy. did not have an answer. He did what he wanted pretty much the whole game, and especially the fourth quarter. What say ye? Can't hear you, Gary. Gary, can't hear you.
What about now?
Now, we
Way
hear
better.
you.
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yep.
If the Alabama team shows up that played Georgia in the first half, this one's going to be over soon. And it might get ugly.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
I've got to see. I see Alabama winning big, and like Gary said, I hope it doesn't get ugly.
I got Alabama too. I'm not crazy 2 weeks in a row.
I really wish I'd have picked Vandy. Florida at Tennessee. Well, I don't know if y'all have ever seen that stadium that Tennessee plays in, but I would not want to go there and play. I wouldn't even want to go to a game unless they had on orange.
I've been there twice in Georgia stuff, and it was not pleasant.
Well,
Florida-
and they're
Florida
and
go-
you talk about
And
another
they're
group
pissed
of
off.
people that's going to be pissed off. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. They're pissed off too. And you're playing them
Yeah.
on they're going to play Rocky Top a lot, I believe, on
Yeah,
Saturday.
they're gonna be pissed out of Florida. Florida does not have a very good team. This is a pick 'em right here. Ole
Yeah.
Miss at LSU. Anybody know what time they're playing?
No?
I haven't looked it up.
Mr. Statistician. Look it
Let's
up.
see. Hold on one
Now,
second.
that makes a difference.
John will find out.
Give me a second. Come on, ESPN.
LSU ain't great, but they're very, very good. Ole Miss.
They have a cap-
Ole Miss ain't great, but they're very, very good. This is going to be the clash of the Titans.
7:30 p.m.
Oh,
Oh.
but
Yeah, thank you.
they're playing at night at LSU. That is possibly the hardest place on the planet to play.
Yeah.
And you're going to have about, 90,000 drunk Cajun rednecks screaming the whole
Oh, they'll
time.
be drunk at 3:00 in the afternoon.
So it's going to be.
They're going to be
Oh, yeah,
beyond
let me
drunk
put
at kickoff time.
Let me put it this way: did anybody pick Ole Miss?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Gary, did you
No,
pick them?
I
All
went with LSU.
right, we all went
No,
with
I
LSU.
picked LSU.
Damn, I thought
I'll
I
tell you
got
one of
one
my
in there.
favorite stories. You know, y'all remember the cooking Cajun, Justin Wilson?
Yeah,
Remember that guy that used to have the cooking show on? This was before everybody else had a cooking show on. Long
Yeah.
time before Emerald or Iron Chef or any of that guy. He told the greatest story. And he was cooking some kind of gumbo or something, and he was telling this story. Had nothing to do with cooking. He said, I got a friend. He tell his friend, he said, I got me 2 tickets. Go up there to see them LSU Bengals play that football. He said, what for you got 2 tickets? He said, you gonna take your wife? He said, no, man, I ain't gonna take my wife. He said, go take your girlfriend. He said, no, I ain't taking my girlfriend. He said, what you do with 2 tickets? He says, I gonna go up there to Baton Rouge and see LSU Bengals play that football. And I gonna get drunk. And I gonna chill. And I gonna chill like hell. I get so drunk, I chill so loud, they throw me out of the stadium. I get that other ticket, I get back in.
good story. Good story.
It was great, and he did it while he was cooking.
Well, I've done a few things while I was cooking. Clemson at Wake Forest. I don't care where they play them. It's going to be Tigers going to romp on Wake Forest.
Yeah. I think Clemson is steadily worked their way back into the elite consideration of the playoffs teams.
Number 10.
I
They're
got
back in.
Clemson.
John, you going with the flow?
I'm going with the flow. I've got Clemson here. They're playing through their season and getting better and better.
Told you, quarterback, once he gets his stuff together, they're going to be hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Glad we got him in the beginning of the season, not at the end. Iowa State at West Virginia. West Virginia's having a ho-hum season. Iowa State is still undefeated, I believe.
I think they are. They're ranked about 6th, 7th.
The Cyclones.
But I'm going with West
Yeah.
Virginia.
You are? I'm picking the Cyclones to blow them away.
They are 5-0. They are undefeated. And I've got Iowa State too.
I'm the only one that's got West Virginia.
Yep. Iowa
That's
State
right.
is 5-0 and ranked number 11
No, 11.
in the AP. That's the only one I pay attention to. Which I wonder why they're all the way back at 11, and you got 4 teams that have lost one.
Well, they weren't even ranked last week. That's one
Yeah, that's
reason
called.
why.
And the other thing is the league they play in. So
Yeah. Kansas State at Colorado. I know it's
Fighting
a Colorado,
Dion.
but I don't care. I think Kansas State can handle them.
And Colorado's been a little bit of disappointment to me this season, but maybe that's just me. I pick Kansas State too.
I went with Colorado. If it's at Colorado, I think Dion might have something for him. He's got the best player in the country playing for him. Maybe the Heisman Trophy winner.
Really? You think he's that good when there's who's the kid that either one pick him at Texas?
Well, he plays offense and defense. He plays over 100 snaps a game. He intercepts the ball and he catches the ball.
Well, Kansas State beat Oklahoma State last week, 42-20. And they also beat Tulane.
I didn't say they weren't good. I just went with the upset.
William for the upset.
I'm gonna stick with Kansas State and their ranking. I think they'll win. I've got Kansas State.
Are they ranked?
Me too.
They're ranked
Kansas State's
18.
ranked.
18, yeah. Somebody's phone ringing.
I think it's Alex's.
Missouri at Massachusetts. Well, slaughter.
That's another pissed off team waiting to make somebody pay for it. So Missouri, Big Mo, all the way here.
I got Missouri 49-14.
Wow. I've
Well,
got
we
Missouri
get to
too.
You get to
I've got
scout
Missouri,
Massachusetts,
too.
right?
Yeah. Speaking of going to the games, I'm taking my grandson to that game
Oh,
in
good
November.
for you.
When we went to see, last year we went to see Georgia play Missouri, which that was the hardest game Georgia had to play during the regular season last year. Missouri gave them everything they wanted. Anyway,
Let's see.
I got Missouri.
UMass has beaten one team. Yep, they've got one victory. They beat Central Connecticut. That's the only win they've had this year.
are they
I
the
thought you were
Minutemen? Is that what
I think
Yeah,
they are.
UMass? Are they the Minutemen?
Yeah, they got Buffalo, which is not a very good team, beat them 34-3. So
I thought for a minute there, Billy, you were going to say they beat Central Gwinnett.
Me too.
I don't think they could.
That would be a 13-7 kind of win there.
I don't think they can beat Central Gwinnett. I got those memories of Central Gwinnett that some are good and some are bad. That's the worst I hurt after a ball game in my entire career, and I played for 13 years playing football, and we played Central Gwinnett. And on the first day, play of the game, whenever you hit the guy you're going to be hitting the rest of the game, when you hit him, you're going to know right then what the night's going to be like. I mean, if you hit them and stand them up but drive them, it's going to be tough, but you can handle this big bastard game. I hit this guy. He decked me. Hit me with his forearm and just knocked me off my feet. And he did that the entire game. He probably outweighed me 70 pounds, and he was strong as hell. And so me and Reggie Colbert were the guards, and they called a trap. And I said, Reggie, swap sides with me. He said, why? And I said, because I want to trap this bastard. I want to at least get one shot at him during the game. And Reggie swapped with me, and we did a trap. He never saw me coming. He was standing up looking up at the sky or something. I don't know what I hit him right under the chin with everything I had with my helmet. I was trying to kill him, and or at least knock him unconscious, but I laid him out. And you can imagine what I said to him as I walked past him. Little spit coming out of my mouth. There you
Who
go.
won the game?
We did. It was 17-14. It was. They get. I could go into that game. It was a very interesting game for me. Anyway, California at Pittsburgh. Pitt. California's got a medium decency team. They beat Auburn. Pittsburgh, they're not having their best year, but they played somebody they've beaten. And so I think I'm going with Pitt.
At home, yeah. Panthers.
I'm going with California. Upset again. 26-21 should be close.
I might join you for that one. California had a lot of good things going for them in their game last week, and I don't know. I just gotta. I feel like I feel an upset waiting to happen there, and so I've got California.
All right.
Pitt they've beaten Cincinnati, they've beaten West Virginia. Pitt beat University of North Carolina.
No, they got a good team.
Youngstown State. So they've only lost one game. They lost to Duke. No, that was last year. They lost to somebody. They beat Cincinnati. According to this, they're number 22. They hadn't lost to anybody.
Well, this would be a big upset.
Well, I'm sticking with Pitt. Williams going with California. Anybody else? John?
None.
Yeah, I am.
All right, we got you on tape. You can't change it now. Purdue at Illinois. Two middle-of-the-pack teams. This could go any way. It could go either way. I don't even know who I picked, actually. Illinois. I'm going
Picked
Illinois.
I picked Illinois too, 24-13.
John, Gary?
I've got Illinois too.
Gary, you got to get closer to your mic.
I look at Purdue.
Yeah, looks like I do. Purdue looks like they're at the bottom of their league, so I want Illinois.
the Fighting Illini.
Against the Boilermakers.
Illinois hadn't lost but one game. They lost to Iowa that was last year. Beat Kansas, beat Eastern Illinois, beat Central Michigan, beat Nebraska. They lost to Penn State last week, that's right. I knew they had lost one. But that was to Penn State, and it was 21-7, so it was a pretty close game. So they've got a good team. So Purdue's lost a couple. They beat somebody of value. I just don't remember who it was.
Yeah, they don't have a winning record.
Who has the lead? Mr. John Cone, up there with big 72%.
One whole percentage point.
Followed by Gary at 71%, myself at 71%, and William, who likes to pick upsets, 69%. William, either this week is going to raise your ship or you're going to go down in the storm.
I'll probably go down in the storm, but I'm only two back of the lead.
There's 2 picks, or the difference between leading or not leading, and just 2 picks.
Only 2 games
out of how many has it been so far?
70 something.
70. Come on, spreadsheet.
78.
Work with me. 78. So, I mean that Georgia Tech pick that I made is the early in the season is the the difference for me. Otherwise, I'd be tied with Gary and Bill.
Well,
we all had a few that we'd like to have back, but
that Carolina pick I made last week, I kind of lost confidence in them. That's for sure. if I'd have hadn't picked that, which was pretty much obvious, I'd be right up there with John.
The spreadsheet that I keep all of this in is last week. If you miss a pick, you get a red. Your pick has a red background, and it's like everybody's pick went red last week. You know, it's been like some people get 3, miss 3 or miss 4, and we all missed last week. It's not pretty.
I missed all of the upsets. I don't think I picked one of those because they were so lopsided going in.
Yeah, I was close in a couple upsets, but they blew it right there at the end.
Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, Michigan, Southern Cal, SMU was. I mean, Louisville was ranked and got beat by an unranked SMU team.
I thought it was an easy pick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I saw that one. I went, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh well. Onward and upward.
Hey, we had Debbie Bell here. Hey,
that's
Debbie
good.
Bell.
What are her emojis saying? A smiley face and a hiking. Oh, camera, hiking boot, and a smiley face. That's good.
All right.
Oh, there you go. That's kind of her icons, right? Along with you, Bill.
That's it.
With the exception of the smiley face.
Yeah. I get that way every once in a while.
You're kind of a grim SOB. You know that?
Well, excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Bill, you're gonna end up liking backpacking. Once I get you started, you're gonna like it.
We'll see. All right. I'll take a quick break. We'll be back for some closing remarks. Wow, I just did that right. Well, I think that, as we all know, in college football, any given Saturday, you've seen the movie, any given Sunday, but any given Saturday, pretty much anybody can lose to anybody. Pretty much. So when you go in there, I remember my senior year in high school, we were ranked like, I don't know, top 10 in the state, and we had Winder Barrow for homecoming, and Winder had not beaten us in like 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. I don't know how long it'd been, but it had been a long time since Winder beat us. And we kind of lackadaisical came in there, and we got our clock cleaned, 28-7. That was a huge upset in high school football that weekend. So you got to have your mind set straight for who you're playing. You know, does Missouri need to really worry about Massachusetts? No. But when you're in the SEC, absolutely, you got to worry about every game. Every game.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Well, anybody else got any finishing remarks?
Well, safe travels to my oldest son, Morgan, and my world's best daughter-in-law, Heather. They are in Japan until Sunday.
All right.
Wow.
And having a good time over there, I think.
I'm picking up my wife tonight. She's coming back from Las Vegas.
Oh, that's your town.
Well, they went to Utah. They went to the national parks in Utah to have wedding pictures made with Natalie and her new husband.
Well, I would have gone and shot those wedding shots. You'd have put me a ticket.
Yeah, just paid his way out there.
Paid my way out. Paid my way out there.
I think they got a photographer out there. I'm not sure what they did. I was out of the loop on that.
I guarantee you it would have saved you some money. All I need is a ticket to get me to Utah. Anyway, thanks, guys. I enjoyed it. Everybody, please be thinking about the people down in Florida right now. They're in dire straits, and prayers would be appreciated. And we will see you next week.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And for whoever's watching us down or listening to us down the road, we're glad you do check on us after when it's not live, and you can still hear all the same stuff you hear when we are live, I guess. Anyway, have a good night.